Hi, it's Rick with Musician's Edition, and today we will continue in the book on page 5. So please turn to page 5 in your book. Before we begin, I want to just review quickly a couple of things that have been mentioned in the past but that are important. Number one, make sure when you put your instrument together that you're wetting your reed first. And then if the mouthpiece is difficult to twist on to the neck piece, make sure you use some cork grease to make that easier. When you're setting up to play, make sure the instrument is hanging at your side and the neck strap should be adjusted so that your mouth easily will go onto the mouthpiece, that the reed will rest on your bottom lip without lots of pressure, nor do you want the instrument too high so that it is up here. Just make sure you take the time to adjust it so it feels comfortable and so it takes some of the weight off of your fingers and hands to hold the instrument up. Turn your mouthpiece a little bit to the side so that your head is straight up and down. And let's take a look at page 5 in the book. At the top are some musical symbols, and I just want to go through those. First of all, there's a treble clef sign. Looks like a fancy G, and that symbol is used to indicate that there are different clefs that are used for different instruments, and a treble clef is in general used for instruments that play higher notes, as opposed to a tuba or a bass guitar, which would play lower notes, and that would read in a bass clef. There are some other clefs also. You will almost always see saxophone music written in the treble clef. The time signature we discussed, one number over another. The top number tells you how many counts are in a beat, are in each measure. Sorry about that. And the bottom number tells you what kind of a note gets one beat. We'll get more into that later. Let's look at the music itself. Just underneath in the book where it says treble clef and time signature, and we're looking at page 5 here, it shows a staff in music. Staff is the lines and spaces that music is written on, and within the staff we have measures. The measures are the spaces in between the bar lines. The bar lines are the lines that divide the staff into measures. So the measure is a space between the bar lines, and the bar line divides the staff into measures. And we talked about the letter names of the spaces and the lines last time. It shows you what a ledger line is. A ledger line is a line used to extend the staff either above the staff or below the staff. The staff is 5 lines and 4 spaces. And so if notes go above the staff or below, then they add a ledger line, and a ledger line is simply an addition to the 5 lines that are already in the staff. Whole notes and whole rests are all we've seen so far and all we will see on this page, and they get 4 counts. And with that, let's do some playing. So, first of all, we learned B, A, and G on the first page. On this page, we're going to learn 3 more notes, E, D, and C. And remember that the diagram here next to the note shows you where to put your hands and which keys to press down. So for an E, you can see that above the line there are 3 blackened in circles. That means your fingers are going to go onto all 3 keys with your left hand. That's the second from the top, pearl. And then there's the little one in between the first finger and the middle finger that is not pressed down. Your middle finger goes on the larger, and then the ring finger goes on the bottom one. So those are the left hand keys. On the back is the octave key. It's called the octave key. and it is shown with a little teardrop just to the left of where your left hand fingers are shown on the chart there. And so what you're going to do with the thumb key or the octave key is you're going to slide your finger up just a little bit, and it's really more of a rocking motion where your thumb just doesn't really change position. It's more just a rocking motion so that you can press that octave key down, and since it's blackened in for this note, it does have to be pressed down. The right hand, you can see that the top two circles are filled in. So we haven't talked about where the right hand fingers go yet because we haven't used them, but we will now. So there are 3 places to put your right hand, all marked with, or all indicated with a pearl here. And so first finger goes on the top one, middle finger goes on the middle one, ring finger goes on the bottom one. But for this note, we're just going to have the top 2. So we've got all 3 fingers of the left hand, we've got the octave key or the thumb key, and the first 2 keys of the right hand to play the note E. And you can see that E is written on the top space of the staff. So E should sound like this. And this is a higher note than the other 3 that we've learned so far, B, A, and G. This one's higher. So once again, my neck strap came off. E should sound like this. If you are having trouble getting that sound, make sure that your hands and your fingers are pressing down the correct keys. Also make sure that the palm of your hands, either hand, are not leaning on keys that they are supposed to be going over. So a common mistake can be to lean your hands just a little bit on these keys with your left hand, and all it takes is a slight leaning on there to open the wrong key, and it will make it hard for you to get the right sound. Same thing with the right hand. There are keys right here that you can play with your palm, but we don't want to right now. We want your hand to go over those. So if you're leaning on those a little bit, that can make it so that you don't get the correct sound. So let's play number 1, and it's all whole notes and 4 beats on each note, and it's all the note E. And I'm going to turn on my metronome at 92 beats per minute. And here we go with number 1. 1, 2, ready, play. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So that's number 1. Keep practicing that one over and over until you've got it really good. I'm going to go ahead to number 2 now. The second note, and you can see that this is a D. This is 1 step lower than the E. And in order to play this note, we're going to have our fingers on the keys just like E, except we're going to also add the ring finger on the bottom key. And this note will sound just a little bit lower than E. So again, all 3 fingers with the left hand, all 3 fingers with the right hand, and the thumb key. Again, double check if your note doesn't sound quite like mine. Make sure your left and right hand palms are not resting or bumping any side keys. And let's play number 2, all with the note D. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. You may have noticed, I know you can't see my feet, but you may have noticed that I was moving just a little bit One thing that musicians do pretty often that's a good idea is tap their foot to the steady beat. And I was doing that. So it's a good way to keep track of the steady beat and keep track of each beat in the music. So if you'd like to do that, don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. That's a good idea. Let's go on to number 3. If you take a look at number 3, it's called T for 2. We have an E in the first measure, and then 4 beats of rest, and then we have a D in the third measure, 4 beats of rest, back to an E, and then the last note is a D. Here we go. Number 3. 1, 2, 3, play. Change to D. Back to E. Back to D. And I do encourage you to rewind this video a little bit and keep practicing these until they are really good before you go on to the next one. But for now, let's go on to number 4. So we're going to learn our 6th note so far. You can see that the fingering for this note is quite a bit different than the notes D or E. There is only one key that's pressed down, and it is the middle finger key with the left hand. So it's the same key that we've been using with this middle finger, but it's the only key we're going to press down. Note that the thumb key is not pressed on this note. And this note is going to be one step lower than D. And it should sound like this. So that's C. And let's play number 4 using the note C. 1, 2, ready, play. 2, 3, 4. All right, now if you look at number 5, 3 of a kind. So all 3 of the notes that we've just learned are going to be used in this exercise, starting with E, then we go to D, then we go to C. So changing from D to C is a big change. You're going to go from all 6 fingers down and the thumb key to releasing all of them except the middle finger of the left hand. So D, everything's down almost, and then C, middle finger of the left hand only. So make sure you're getting that. That's something you can practice. It's a good idea to practice just doing the fingerings before you try to play. That way you can get used to that, and then you can add playing. So if you're having any trouble, I encourage you to just practice doing what I'm doing right now. Just going back and forth until it's comfortable. Takes a while. So let's play. When you're ready, play number 3. Start with E. 2, 3, play. D. Now to C. Back to D. Two, three, 4. And then Three's Company is number 6, a little bit different order of the notes. This time we're starting on D. Here we go. Number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Another good thing to get used to the notes is to go through the exercise and just name the notes to yourself. So just say D, C, E, D, and as you do that, you can do the fingerings for the notes. So D, C, E, D. That way you're taking out, blowing into the instrument, making a sound. In other words, kind of simplifying the process so that you can get better at what you're trying to get better at exclusively, which is the fingerings. All right, let's look at number 7. Starts with a C, then to a D, then to an E, and then back to a C. Here's number 7. 1, 2, 3, play. Metronome stopped early. I don't know why. Anyway, that's page number 5. Next time we will talk a little bit more about some other things, and then we will get on to page number 6. Nice thing is you won't have to learn too many more new notes for a while. From now on, they'll be introduced a little more slowly, more like one at a time. So thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.